This is Phantom Electric Ghost, and we're live on the air with Manny Freiser for the first time. And you're author of Tracks in the Sand of Time, Volume 1 is a memoir about life and rock and roll. So welcome to the Phantom Electric Ghost podcast. How you doing tonight?
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it, Phantom. Doing
Yeah.
really well. Thank you very much.
Well, it's cool to talk to people, especially musicians. I was telling you ahead at the time, this whole podcast was focused on, merging singer-songwriters, writers, anybody who's got a creative kind of mindset. And so we always love going back to our roots on the show and talking
Right.
to an artist. And you were in the band, um, like your band, the Grodes, was active, from 65 to 68?
65 to 68. The Grodes ran roughshod over Tucson, Arizona.
You said you was kind of like you were known as like a Stones type of band, or like
Yeah,
how were you?
well, let me go back to the beginning just a little bit. I think you'll get a kick out of what happened. I didn't want to be in a band. I thought I was going to be a rock star. A lot of people do. And I was making little demos at the only studio in Tucson. And I ran into a guy named Jerry Kasnitz, who would go on to put together, he just recently died, rest in peace, Jerry. He put together an entire new genre called bubblegum.
Yeah.
But when I met him, he took a listen to some of my songs and he says, "You're going to be a star." And he said, "I'm going to spend $2,000 recording you." And see, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make records, write songs and make records. In the 60s, you didn't have to really appear. I mean, a lot of the artists were never seen.
You're behind the scenes kind of
Right,
artist.
right. That's what I wanted to do.
Like Carole King. Like Carole King
Right.
was like you were writing like that. Neil Diamond, Carole King.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to do. And
You want to do that?
I'm on crutches. I was always been on crutches, so I didn't want to do the stage thing and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, Kasnitz got kicked out of the University of Arizona, and when he left, he asked his roommate and best friend, a producer by the name of Jerry Bruckheimer, who went on to become the movie producer.
Was that TV guy, right?
Yeah. Pirates of the Caribbean, CSI, all that.
Yeah.
We used to call him Brucky. So that was. I don't know what your language restriction is on the show.
No, I don't have any. You can.
Because we really called him Fuck a Ducky Brucky. That was his nickname. Anyway, he used to call me all the time and go, "Manny, what am I going to do with Kasnitz? He's crazy." And Kasnitz was like, "I'm going to spend $2,000 on you. You better practice." It was a whole thing. So when we went and recorded a song called "I Won't Be There." It's my first big recording session at Sunset Western with the Beach Boys engineer Chuck Britz at the board.
Wow.
It was an incredible moment for me to see those equipment cases with Beach Boys stencil on them. Anyway, that's what I wanted to do. But when Kasnitz left Tucson, he left instructions for Brucky to find me a band. He wanted me to get live experience.
So that was a song you did. Was it under your own name? That one?
No. Kasnitz thought I should be called what was it? Randy Buckingham and the Palace Guards.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yeah, which is interesting because there's been groups called the Palace Guards and Randy Buckingham. But yes, that's what he wanted to do, and that's who I was because he thought I sounded English. So
you're trying to do a British invasion thing?
Yeah, it was a British invasion thing. So Brucky takes me over to these guys' house to rehearsing. He says, "I want you to meet these guys." And we spent a half hour trying to figure out a song we could jam on. And I hated them and they hated me. And as we left the house, I said, "No, we got to keep looking." And Brucky just looked at, he didn't want to keep going around to different houses showing me stuff. So I said, "This is not going to work." He just goes, without looking at me, he goes, "It's going to be fine."
You just want to force it. So you want to force it.
Exactly. So the Grodes became the Grodes. They were called the Hustlers before me, and they were a surf band, a surf instrumental band. And so we got together, and we were god awful. I mean, our first job we played was at the university, and we played in I'll never forget it, in a beer sodden frat room basement room. The PA, the mic I sang out of, I sang through a PA mic
Oh no.
through a tiny little guitar amp.
Yeah, that's
But
not
you
good
know
here
what?
for a vocal.
But when we, when we did, well, the best things in life are free.
Like that.
I was hooked. I was hooked, and people loved it. It was raw, believe
That's
me.
like a raw. Yeah, well, that's the cool. I mean, it's cool when you have that underground,
Oh,
party, college party, house party kind of vibe.
it was truly, and those were a major group of our jobs. Our gigs were at university functions, especially since our keyboard player was a Sigma Nu, and he was
Oh, so
hooked
you're
into
doing
all
all the
the. Yeah, he
you're
was
doing
hooked
all
into
the
them all. And Kasnitz, the guy, and Bruckheimer too, were both. They belonged
rap boys.
to the Jewish fraternity, ZBT,
Oh, so there's a
and
lot of frat house
yeah,
like
which
party things.
they referred to as zillions, billions, and trillions. They were funny. Anyway, um, so we started playing, and almost from the get go, I mean, I was best friends with the lead guitar player for a few weeks, but almost from the get go, he started disliking me. And at first, it was kidding, and it became more serious as we went along. And it would be the undoing of the band. And it took 3 years. It was pretty rough. But the seeds of our own destruction were within the group. And it was the thing that makes me sad to this day was we were starting to get good.
You were actually getting because you guys had written like the songs I was listening to, like "Let's Talk About Girls" and "Cry a Little Longer." Are
Yep.
are you the primary writer on those?
Yeah. 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 I mean, I wrote one or two songs with CR, Ricotta Robles, the bass player. Uh,
Hmm.
but most of the songs I wrote myself. And and we were starting to get good. We were top 10 in Tucson all the time, but then again, our manager was a DJ on the station, Dan
So he was
Gates.
like making sure you got played.
Yeah, but he didn't cut us too many breaks. I'll tell you that much right now. Uh, but we were doing pretty well. We had a good following. After 3 years, we were like, I would say, the second most popular band in town. The most popular band in town was a group that sounded more like the Beatles. We were the Stones band. They were
There's
the
those type
Beatles
of
band.
bands. Yeah.
And
So was it
and
hard to try to get was there a plan to get you out of Arizona to get you to like
oh,
LA
whoa,
and
you
get
just
you
hit
to
on
New
the
York?
subject. You just hit on this subject. Almost every break, we would argue about whether we should be a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond in LA.
Hmm.
And the boys, they all wanted, I think it was their hobby band,
It
honestly.
was like a hobby. They
They
didn't
all,
want to go push it. They didn't want to push it.
no, no, they had families in Tucson, big families, and they were hooked in there they were doing other jobs and careers that they were working on.
So it's kind of
And
like you got to really make that commitment to go on the road.
and that was scary. I
It's
mean,
scary to them.
I had as big a commitment as they did. I thought I was in law school, and I'll never forget the day I came home to my family's house with my first wife, first of many, and and we were sitting at the table, and I said, "Guess what?" And my father's was an academic, an arrogant academic, and arrogant professor. And I said, "Guess what? I'm quitting law school to go to LA and become a rock star." And a lot of food was swallowed down the wrong way at the
Yeah,
table.
people don't want to
Anyway,
hear that. Like when you tell your parents that you want to be an artist, they're like, when you gonna get a real
right?
job?
Exactly. And it never stopped. It never stopped. Even at the age of 50, I went back and became a lawyer,
Hmm.
and that didn't satisfy my family either.
Yeah,
They
well,
wa- they
yeah. Nobody ever like wants to hear like they might have plans for you, right? They got a plan for what, and if you don't match the plan, especially
you
your father's
know
plan, it's kind of hard.
right, and he was pretty nasty about it. I mean, I understand now as a father. I understand. Your kid comes home and they're almost finished with law school, and they say, I'm going to quit and become a rock star.
Yeah,
I
it's probably not the
understand.
thing I wanted to pay all those loans for.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I'm quitting law school. And by the way, could I borrow a few bucks?
Yeah, I need some money for my Econoline van so I can tour.
Exactly, exactly. So by this time, I was the new other lead singer besides me. Uh, Patti and I were starting to fall in love. And so the two of us left for the coast. And that's the end of volume one right there.
That's
We
awesome.
left full of hope, and our dreams were intact. Everything was exciting. The second volume, which I'm editing now,
It's
is
gonna be
not
much
as
more.
happy and upbeat. It's
Yeah, it's back to real life. What happened in LA?
right. It's from getting to LA and ends with the death of our marriage in 1984,
Mhm.
85. So, and by the way, we're still good friends to this day. We went through a bad patch there for a while, obviously, but we're good friends. Um, and we get together and perform sometimes at small restaurants and stuff like that when we feel like it. But
So
yeah,
just a question about your writing style. Like, what's your primary writing instrument? Is it like an acoustic guitar or a piano,
yeah.
or you just like to just put it down on tablature, or like just write it the lyrics? Or like, what's your process?
Uh, I've done it all that different ways, but my primary way is with an acoustic guitar. Secondary would be with my Fender Strat, and then the third, I guess, and more these days, is my Yamaha keyboard, which can be, as you know, can be an orchestra. So,
Yeah. I'm a
so
synth head, so I know what these things can do.
yeah,
That's kind
I
of
yeah, I'm kind of the opposite of you. I'm one of these guys that said, I don't want to know how to build it. Just give me the wheel and let me fly it.
and you fly.
So
Yeah,
I learned Pro Tools, which is
yeah.
right
You
back
learned
here.
it.
I learned it. Well, actually, Paul, my best friend who stole the ex-wife, he showed it to me, and he showed me a few things about it. And I said, I really like it. And this was in 2004. And I
Hmm.
said that. He goes, yeah, welcome to the 90s.
Yeah,
So I was a little behind. Um,
yeah. It's
but he did
weird
not
because
expect me
to
to
learn to want
learn.
to learn that.
And
Yeah,
and
because
I
it's a different process. It's kind of like it allows you to like if you're a control freak and you learn it, you can do like you can just map out everything you want to do.
it's
Um,
kind of like, to me, it feels a little bit like something like Photoshop, where you can get in it to any depth you want to go. It's virtually has no bottom. I mean, it's so deep.
yeah,
But
you can just like
I
you can go too far. Yeah, because the
yeah,
problem with it
right,
sometimes
right,
that's why I like to retreat back to my hardware. Like I'll go
right,
back to a multi-track that maybe is like an 8 or a 16, and it's like because the DAW I can do like unlimited. But if I
right,
limit myself, like and if I actually would use like an analog synth instead of a digital synth, I go back and I use
right,
a Moog or I use a
right.
Hammond, right? Then I'm restricted by what that can do. But sometimes
Oh
I
yeah,
like the restriction because it helps my songwriting. Because then I'll just focus on something that's gonna move
yeah. It
me.
has to have some dimension to it. You
Yeah,
can't just be out there in the middle of the field somewhere. It's gotta be contained in some rational way. But I do enjoy working with the keyboard. I know how to play it a little bit, but I don't know much about. I don't even do MIDI. I just
MIDI,
do
yeah. You just
direct. Um,
yeah,
MIDI is where
gotcha.
you activate different
Yeah.
instruments with the keys. I'm just explaining for who, if
Yeah.
somebody doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I that's too much for me. I just plug in my guitar and hack away.
Yeah, it's just
So
it's like how far you go with guitar, 'cause you get some guitar players and they're like sonic sculptors, right? And they
no,
got all
yeah,
these pedals and
right.
they go for different tones based on whatever the guitar, use different pickups. Is like, are you more like I got a guitar, acoustic, or I have my Fender and I'm gonna build
I've
this song?
always I've always been ridiculed by those guys
Those
because
guys
I'm just,
they don't
it's
like
like
your approach.
I just strum a few chords. If I like something, I'll write it, and my style is uh, a combination, and I think you find that with most people, I guess, with most writers, of this idea of channeling something which comes to you seemingly from another planet, and then the opposite of that, which is hacking away at it all day trying to come up with something good. And of course, it's a combination. Um,
Both.
Recently, I've come up with this theory. You know how we always talk about, I this idea came to me. It was channeled to me,
Yeah,
and
downloads from the muse.
right, yeah, and I think it is to some extent, but I don't think it's channeled to us. I think it's there,
Yeah, you
and
just
I
pick
think
up on it. Pick
some
up
of
on it.
us are interested in it and find the door.
Yeah, it's like Hendrix said one time he was playing with the Isley Brothers and they were putting something down, and he did something that was wildly different than what they were playing. And he said, "Well, the universe gave it to me. I picked up on it, and I had to put it down." So it's like
Boy,
he was a receiver, right?
did
He
he
had
ever put
something
it
in his
down?
subconscious, but he also was a receiver, and he's received things, and you can kind of channel that. You hear that with the Victorian poets. They talk about the muse. Sometimes like we're
It's
receivers to something that's there,
Well,
and we know
it's
how to
really
put it
interesting
down.
because I can verify that for me it's true. For example, one day I was swimming, and in 15 minutes I wrote an entire song, the words and the music, and it's one of my best songs. And it was there,
It
and
just came. Yeah,
it just did it. I can't tell you how many songs I've
come
not
like
written
that.
that came to me in while I was sleeping, and I failed to wake up.
You
I
didn't
don't
wake up
have
and
the
put it down. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
don't
know.
have the pen or the recording studio by the bedside like Keith Richards does.
Yeah, I got it right in my bedroom. That's
Yeah, do you? It's
yeah.
smart. It's the only way to do
And
it.
I'll wake up and I'll just put it down because I found that
Right,
I'm that type of guy that it
right.
just comes to me and I'll just jump up and nobody has to hear it because I got my headphones. But yeah, it depends on like, do you let that go and say, well, I'll let that one go. You know,
Well, I've used very few of those ideas. I've remembered very few of those ideas. I have been lazy that way. I think that's laziness. I should have had more follow through on that. But um, I get ideas lots of times, and I feel that stuff has been channeled to me a good portion of the time. But the hard part is that when it's channeled to you, most often part of it is channeled to you,
not
like
the
the
whole
hook
thing.
may come to you,
Yeah, not the whole thing.
and then you got to go spend the next couple of weeks writing it.
Yeah, try to get the rest of it. You can't
Right,
just have all hook. I mean, today
right.
you got guys that the whole song is the hook.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
but if you're really gonna write a song, you gotta have some dynamics. You gotta
Right.
have, some theory. It's like, yeah, intro, outro, verse, chorus,
Certainly the
structure.
old style,
Yeah,
the older style, which I write. I'm not
mod dribble
modern in
paste.
that sense,
Yeah.
and it's coming back for God's sake. It's coming back.
Yeah, 'cause I think people get tired. It's like the whole song is just a hook. It's all
Right.
bass and drum. It's like I not I love the Beatles. I love like Sun Ra. I mean, I listen to Miles Davis. I mean, I'm all over the place. I like
Great stuff.
anybody that's kind of pushing it.
Right.
Weather Report or something. It's like I want to
Right.
see somebody actually is like a Herbie Hancock. It's like, yeah, that somebody's actually doing it. Right. It's
Right.
actually disciplined. They want to
It's
put it
not the
together.
Yeah, it's not the genre of the music. It's more the energy of it and the talent and the performance. I mean, it's the
Yeah, they're
whole
telling a
thing.
story. It's like you're like every songwriter, right? For you, it's all really about the story, right? You're trying to tell a story. You're
Yep.
given a scene, and
Yep.
unlike a filmmaker, our scenes happen within under like 4 minutes, right?
That's
And
right.
so, and we tell that story in 4 minutes, and it's got to be urgent and believable, and that you're going to stay in the story. You're going to keep on wanting to listen to it, right?
That's why I said I will never write a book because I think in 2.5, 3 minute segments. So
Yeah.
so so
Yeah, it's like,
you know
where you're like that. This is my zone, right?
this is my zone. But then somebody reminded me that I love to tell stories, and they said, or I thought of it. I can't remember how it happened exactly, but it came to me that just write down the stories.
Hmm.
Just write them down. And I wrote down episodes. And I got this thing.
That's
This
your book.
I'm not trying to sell my book or anything.
No, that's cool. That's what the whole point of this is. So if we do have your QR code, if people don't realize that this is the new tech. So you take your phone, you scan that QR code, it goes right to Manny Freiser songs.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, you don't
and
have to do that. But I mean,
but we put it up there because, like, if you want to
yeah,
check that out, you can check that out while we're talking. So I just let people
Well,
know.
I appreciate whoever is interested in it, whether you buy it or not. I appreciate it.
But that's cool being an author because like, was that hard to put a book together versus like
No,
as a
no.
songwriter? Because, or you just were able to just take
Well,
that same process.
for the first book, which is the one that's out, I didn't collaborate, but my good friend from Arizona, from my Arizona period, my decade in Tucson, uh, I got him to be the editor,
Oh wow.
and more he didn't edit. In the end, he said, "Oh, you wanted me to look at typos?" Because what he did is we sat and traded ideas,
Oh, so
and
he gave you
we remembered stories together, and
gave
we
you
talked
additional
about
content. Yeah.
we relived it. And writing this book has been the most fantastic way of somebody else said this. Another author said it recently. Maybe it was Mike Campbell who did the Tom Petty's guitar player
Tom
who just
Petty's like he wrote a book. Yeah.
his book like a lot like mine. I mean, aside from the fact that the Heartbreakers made it, they were just a bunch of guys sitting around in Gainesville, Florida. You
Yeah.
know, nothing happening.
They were
Yeah,
passionate about writing songs
exactly,
and they just
exactly.
like they hit a chord. Like sometimes you're like, sometimes what happens, like you get a guy like you think about William Blake, one of the greatest romantic poets ever, right?
Yeah,
He
great one.
wasn't found in his time. Sometimes you get a break in your Tennyson or your Wordsworth, and in your time you're known, and sometimes you're
Well,
not.
Phantom, that's the whole story, man. I tell everybody, hey, I'm going to sell stuff after I croak. I mean, hey, I'm Van Gogh, you know?
That's I mean, I think it's just important to put it down. I
Yeah,
always tell
yeah,
people because, the Velvets, nobody knew about the Velvet Underground, right?
right, right,
Bowie happened to like them, and then Lou got boosted because Bowie decided, "Hey, I like this guy,"
right,
right?
exactly.
So sometimes you catch a break where you get a guy like that that comes along and says, "Hey, this guy's awesome,"
My
right?
philosophy is once you create it and put it down, the song, maybe not the recording even, but the song lives forever. That
Yeah.
song has been created and can't be uncreated. And
It's like a piece of
that,
you talk to painters, it's like
yeah,
when they
right,
put that work down and whether they put it in the gallery or not,
right.
it exists, and
And
once it's
people,
outside their head, then you could
right.
go somewhere.
Right, exactly. Well, people criticize this kind of career because what do you have to show for it? Oh, it's there. Once you create a song, why don't you go get a law degree? No, it's just like that. If you put your stuff down,
Yeah.
it's there and it's
Well,
going to stay there.
especially in this world where people sample or people go back, like you have no idea. Like, there's a lot of people that are, not that
Oh,
I love
absolutely.
the sampling, but people go and grab stuff and they're looking for stuff that's kind of off the beaten path. So there are some folks that are looking for these like underground rock bands, or you think of the story about like Big Star, Alex Chilton, Big Star. I
Right,
mean,
right,
that guy was like, everybody, anybody who's like a producer or a writer, they loved it, Big Star, but the public
right,
didn't know about Big Star. But it
right.
inspired all these other bands, up to like guys like Billy Corgan and the Pumpkins, and all these like
Exactly.
grunge bands were all inspired by him. Counting Crows guy was, name checking him all the time. So
Right.
that's what happens. It's like sometimes people like you, if you write something, it gets out into the ether, and other people who are creative benefit
It,
from what you do because you put these things out there and there's like the nuggets of gold and people
right.
mine them.
Right, right. It's really true. And I've gotten an education on that from my 20-something daughter, who before she stopped talking to me as a teenager, I had taught her the entire 60s. So she knows the 60s even better than I do. And
Yeah.
she knows about the sampling, when they sampled the songs from the 60s. And she has taught me all about what's going on now with music. And she just has a fierce ear. She's also a great singer and songwriter, but that's not what she likes to do. She doesn't
Mhm.
love it like I do.
Yeah.
But she's going to be a writer, I think, prose more.
Like
But anyway,
creativity is always, to me, creativity is the heart of like why I get up. Like
thank
you
you.
have your job that pays the mortgage,
Right.
but like when I'm on my keys and when I'm on the ivory, I feel very passionate when I'm on my board. I just like to
Absolutely.
write, and whether it goes anywhere or not, I just like to write. I like to play, and
You can't
so
help writing.
you just
You can,
can't. It's
I
not
can't
about
help it.
making money. It's like
Right.
I just like to play the chords, right? I just like
Right.
to do it.
Well, and I found that, and I love it too, and I can't stop doing it. But I also found that I don't know how far you want to get into my psychological profile. Um, I don't know how many doctors listen. Anyway, the point is, I'm just kidding. But I also found that I wrote to get, because I always felt like I wanted to be known and understood and
Mhm.
accepted, and I wasn't as a kid. And I just I wanted, and this was my ticket to that. This was
Way
uh,
to connect.
if you read my songs and my book, then you know me, and if you like it, then I feel accepted to some degree, and that's what I need besides just the writing process, which is what I love and couldn't help doing anyway. But I also find that psychologically, it's been really good for me. For example, writing the book, I started to talk about it, reliving. I relived those years. I relived them, and I watched Manny from a distance. I was able to look at him and say, "What are you doing?" No, oh, that was good, or now I understand.
Yeah, you
And
give
it's
yourself that perspective where you
oh,
have, when you're creative and you go dive back into something that might have been traumatic or might have been painful or it didn't go out the way you wanted, and instead of just burying it, if you're a writer, you use it as an asset, use it as an
right,
artifact, use it as
right.
your creative, and so even if it was painful, you dive into it, and
Hey,
then
man, especially if it was painful.
yeah, because
I've,
that tends to be the thing that drives, like, art is
yeah,
usually coming from
yeah,
pain.
yeah.
That's
I can't write either when I'm too miserable or happy. But that low level, that what do they call it? The beta wave state or the alpha wave
yeah, kind
state?
of like dream
It's,
state, like
yeah,
subconscious is like where
it's
everything's coming from.
yeah, it's kind of a quiet, reflective, a little bit sad, but not a lot sad. Just that reflective state. Um, but that's my other thing. I just have addicted to love. I don't know if you'd say that, but that's where I come from musically.
Yeah,
Sad
music,
love songs. Sad love songs is me,
the love
are
songs,
me.
they're telling stories, like,
Yeah,
it's just like you're telling this story, it's human it's a
yeah,
very human thing
yeah.
to have
And
these
yeah,
feelings of romantic, and whether you're it's, unrequited love or love that you did have and then you lose,
thank you.
or
That's the one for me.
yes, and that ends up being like a lot of songs are about that.
Yeah, most I'm on my third marriage and very happy, and my wife has assured me that I will not get out of this one alive. But but almost all my songs are written to my three ladies, who I love them all, and Susie
Mhm.
knows that. I love them all, and I'm close friends with them, and she is too. In fact, Susie and my ex-wife Patty, the singer, they get together and laugh
Well,
at
they
me.
talk.
So
Well, that's
yeah,
cool. That's
they
healthy.
talk some smack. Yeah. And I usually am on the losing end of that one. But they're terrific. They're amazing. And yeah, there's a roadmap of songs that describe all of it.
Well,
And then
it's like your story. It's like your life work is your
exactly,
music, right? It's like
exactly.
you have all this music you did, and it's just really interesting because you have this garage rock period, and then you have this period you're working on the second book, but
Right.
it's interesting to me that period from 65 to 68. Like, what were your influences, like, what was going on with, like, the Beatles and the Stones, or you
Oh
were organically feeling something and maybe seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, did that really be the big thing that pushed all these
well,
bands to wanna be created?
let me tell you something, man. I one of the distinct advantages of my life was to be there when it was all happening. I
Mm,
still think the best, most dynamic period of rock and roll. I mean, one of my friends said to me, I showed him a playlist from the station back then, and he said, "Oh man, were there Beatles and Stones reissues out at the same place, time, and Hendrix too?" No, man, that's when they were out for the first time.
yeah, that's all
They,
happened.
It was all happening. I mean, I was driving down the Hollywood freeway in the fog, listening to All Along the Watchtower
Yeah, it's
and
like a
White.
golden age. It's like
Oh,
that period is such a golden age. If you look at like 63 into the mid-70s, right? And you look at the top 50 for that period, and you look at the it's gold. I mean,
it's cool.
everything's good. It's
Hey,
like
I mean,
everything's good.
they're on the playlist and starting a little later for the Doors, but there was the Stones, the Beatles, the Doors, Hendrix, and on and on. I mean, on and on. I mean,
The
it's just
quality, like if I look at the, and I'm sorry for the people today, they're like, "Whoa, you guys just don't understand modern music." I just don't see bands as substantial as Dylan, Hendrix, Pink Floyd.
well,
Like I don't see,
it's
in the
because
underground they probably are, but in the popular area, the popular music at that period had like such a list level of writers.
well, and
Compared,
people of today's era, like my daughter, I mean, she gets it because I've hammered it, hammered it on her. But there was something magical about it all being done for the first time. It's like now you play a Beatles record, it might sound quaint, the sound, but
Mhm.
I mean, this stuff was powerful then. Yeah, I
Yeah.
keep trying to describe it to people. When Hendrix played, he came to Tucson. I went to see him.
Oh, you
Hendrix
saw
stood
it.
there on that stage 5 feet from me and blew an entire wall of Marshalls,
But it just
and
seemed
just
like the artists were doing it because they were into the art, and the
exactly.
business was actually supporting people who are artists,
That's
not
right.
people who are just trying to push widgets. And it seems like
That's right.
today you got people who are just pushing widgets,
Yeah,
where
there's
Hendrix and the
listen.
Doors and Dylan, they believed in what they were doing,
Yeah, it
right?
was less about image. It was less about image and brand, and it was more about music and the feeling of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I think.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I actually was more influenced by the Beatles in the sense that um, other people, I'm sure, had recorded original stuff. I mean, of course, the Beach Boys and Elvis and all
Yeah,
that.
but
And
yeah,
Elvis didn't, but yeah, but the Beatles got everybody to form a band.
yeah, because
Once,
it's like
yeah,
the ultimate boy band, and then they became like like a cultural phenomenon, and they didn't care about like I mean, they were commercially successful, but they were willing to experiment at a
oh,
level
they experimented.
that
Yeah,
a boy band doesn't do,
that's
right?
right. Oh, that's right. And you have to have been there to feel the complete invasion of music from England that happened
Yeah,
after the
British
Beatles.
invasion, like
I
the
mean, the
Turtles,
Zombies and the Kinks
Zombies, the
and
Turtles, the Kinks,
uh,
they have all those
uh,
bands.
beautiful music.
Richard,
And
the Animals,
Jerry and the
Chaz
Pacemakers.
Chandler found Hendrix, Chaz Chandler, he found Hendrix. He was
Oh,
from the
did he?
Animals.
I did.
Yeah.
I think I read that, but I
Yeah, he actually
maybe
came into New York and saw him playing and then brought him
really.
back,
Oh, that's
but
great.
it was Chaz.
Right, because I know Hendrix made it first out of UK
Yeah, because he actually
and then
saw him
came
in
back.
New York and then got him a ticket to go to London and had
Yeah,
him record, "Hey Joe," and then
that
boom. And then I
that
guess
was.
Jagger and Richards and Townsend and I think even like Clapton all saw him and then they go, "Damn."
Yeah, everybody's lining up by
It's
that
like
time.
what like, oh, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Because
Well,
we like Leadbelly, but this guy is like, oh god, this guy's Robert Johnson, Leadbelly going beyond that,
beyond. He was coming from another area somewhere. I mean,
Yeah, it's just, and I
his
think that what's possible, like today, people don't seem to want to push it. Like in the underground, I follow a lot of stuff going on in Berlin, stuff going on in like corners, like still in the Delta. You get people who are purists, you get jazz purists, you get people who really care about music, but
right.
they're not getting promoted, right? So I find people in the underground, kind of like you were in the underground, and that's really where things are going on. But the industry itself doesn't want to promote that
No,
anymore.
no, 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 no. They're interested in selling the widgets, and it's evidenced in what happened to music. Music didn't used to be niched.
Hmm.
Back in the mid '60s, you would hear the Stones on the radio on the same station with Johnny Mathis, on the same station with the
Yeah.
Supremes, on the same station with and country music. With this, it was a unified. It was music.
Yeah,
It was
niching, I think, wrecks everything. Because if you just niche,
yeah,
then you don't have that cross pollination, and the cross pollination is like everything.
yeah. It's so niched out that it's like there's each niche has 10 audience members in it or something. But that's being funny. But it it, it
I think
really
it wrecks you.
robs people. It robs
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
people.
if you're just gonna be a heavy metalhead, then you
Right.
don't cross over. It's like because Hendrix is heavy metal and blues and psychedelia and a little Bob Dylan and a
And
little
rock and roll. And
rock
just
and roll.
stay.
It's everything, right? So
Yeah.
it's like why can't you listen to cross genre is really the thing, and then people want, oh, I just gotta you gotta stay in your lanes. Like, did the
Yeah.
Doors stay in their lane?
Yeah. Well, that definitely wasn't the thing back then. I mean, back then, uh, you had everybody on the same station. Even what's his name, Roger. What was the country guy that did those funny country records? I can't remember his name. Roger. Anyway, but he was on the same station. They were all on the same station.
Yeah, well, Johnny
Instrumentals.
Cash. I mean, you got people like you got that outlaw country like a Cash. I like the train running down the track kind of,
Right. Johnny
and
Cash was on the
but
same
he was
station.
like this outlaw. He wasn't just he was like so cool because he's a man
Right.
in black. He's like going to Folsom Prison. He's
Right.
playing songs with Nashville Skyline with Dylan. He's
Yep.
he's he's just all over the place, and he's willing to like address things. Not just my car's broken and my girlfriend don't love me no more. My dog's dead. Whatever.
Exactly. Oh,
There's
yeah. There
more
was
than
much
that.
more. There was much more political music then.
Yeah.
Well, of course, late '60s. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
that's what
wild.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
it just seems like
And
people
all
were willing to handle things that were like, oh, like music in itself was
right.
radical. Like, for the Doors,
It
if Jim
was.
Morrison
Yes.
says something wrong, like saying, I'm gonna take you higher, he gets banned.
Yeah.
You
No,
can't say
rock was
that.
a radical form of music. It was not approved by the older generation, and that's why we loved it. I'll
Yeah, it's
never
like he's
forget. I
rebellion.
mean, my whole life is a series of remember. You know how you remember where you were on certain things like Kennedy's death and stuff like that. I'm that way with music. I'm
Mhm.
like, I remember exactly where I was the first time I was driving to LA to meet with my girlfriend and then first wife, and driving over the desert. There's nothing out there. You can't hear, couldn't
Mhm.
hear anything out there then, and except for the big 50,000 watt stations out of like Oklahoma City and a few places. But so there was nothing but static out there. And I'm driving, and it's just static, and it's dark, and it's the desert, and I hear something. I go, "What is that?" It was the beginning of like a Rolling Stone by Dylan. It
Oh,
was. It was. It was. I mean, it was goosebumps. It
yeah, that
was.
song when it starts is kinda like the drum just kicks,
Yeah.
just hits real hard, and then you're
Right.
like, boom, it just comes in, and it's
Yeah.
just like it's a statement.
Right. And the sound was different. And the sound was different, even for Dylan. The
Yeah, because he
sound.
went electric and he had, like, an early
Yep.
version of the band,
That was a
not
good
exactly
movie.
the
Did
band.
you? Did you see that movie? Did you see
Oh, yeah,
the Dylan?
I love everything.
Yep.
I got all the Basement tapes. I got, like, the 10 hours of Basement
Oh,
tapes.
dear.
I'm crazy. But when it comes to songwriting, I listen to every single thing Dylan did,
Well,
you
here's
know,
one
'cause
for you. Here's one for you. I'm kind of odd that way. All the writers I know listen to copious amounts of music. I I don't listen to much when I'm writing. I find it clutters the highway
yeah, I
for me.
don't actually listen to something when I actually writing it. Like,
Do
if I'm
you?
out
Yeah.
yeah, I don't listen to music when I'm writing. Like,
In your
I
mid
keep it.
process.
Yeah, because I have my own process, like, I got all these synths, I got all this analog stuff, right, and I let, like, my machines kinda talk to me because 'cause I'm
Yeah.
using these
Yeah.
old synths, like these old Moogs and stuff,
That's right.
and I let the sound I build the waves, and I get the waveforms going, and I get the stuff churning around, and I get inspired by, like, whatever, kinda like a Pink Floyd thing, like,
Yep.
I'm building up all this weirdness, and then I was like, "Oh, I'll find some nugget in it." And then work on it. And that doesn't really come from anybody else. In my subconscious, I might have something in the back of my head that I
Sure.
tune into,
Subconsciously.
but like I'm not trying to go and clone somebody else's song. Where I spent a
Right.
lot of time, people today, they spend so much time sampling and clipping. that they
Oh
don't try to
yeah,
do original work, and
I
I'm
I
kind of pride myself on original work.
I found that interesting. If you're ready for this, I actually went back and became a lawyer at 50, and I worked with a couple copyright cases, but I was certainly aware because of that of the cases of like George from the Beatles, George
Oh yeah,
Harrison's law case with My Sweet Lord. Uh, I believe that he just wrote a song. He wasn't thinking of anything, but he had it in his back of his mind somewhere, and it cost him what, $6 million?
yeah. I mean, people go, and sometimes if you think about the blues, like if you think about Lead Belly, Robert Johnson, pentatonic scale is pentatonic scale. I mean, you're gonna pull that stuff.
Right,
It's like how
right,
Stevie Ray Vaughan does it versus how Lead Belly does it, how Robert
right.
Johnson does it. It's like in that frame, there's a certain frame,
That's
right?
right.
But if you get to a Beatle chord or a certain structure, it's like okay, like you get these songwriters in the '70s, they start doing very specific chord arrangements, very
Right.
specific voicings. It's okay, yeah, well, you're stealing that, right? People
Yeah,
sample that and they take it like it's not a
right.
standard, you know,
There are actually very
composition.
definite some very definite rules about it, including a certain number of bars of music that can be the same before that triggers
At the
uh,
copyright.
liability, I guess. But anyway, I mean, it happens because first of all these guys listen to all these guys.
Yeah,
And
I mean, if you listen to the Beatles, they were listening to a tons of Motown. They were
exactly.
listening to tons of like Stax. They were listening to all that stuff, right? So they're gonna pull it. I mean, get like Led Zeppelin, and they used to get in trouble because they would not like the Stones would say if they took a Robert Johnson song. Keith Richards
Right,
and them, they would
right,
say if they took it. Like,
right.
but Zepp, they would act like they didn't know it
Yeah,
was like
what
something
song?
like, well, like yeah, really, you don't know how come Keith knows and you don't really
Yeah,
Paul Jones and you don't know that like
yeah,
really
right, right. Yeah, no, and most artists will not sue. They'll just say, "Hey, that's the way it goes." I mean,
yeah
so
I mean
many of them.
unless you take something real direct
Yeah,
like
My Sweet
the
Lord.
Queen when somebody took the Bowie song
Yeah,
like Ice Baby. It's
right, right, right,
like
right.
come on, that's a total direct.
Yeah, yeah. There is a line. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I just reminded of uh, when I came to LA. A lot of stories from the second part of this book. I worked in the industry. I was an
Mhm.
artist. Me and my ex-wife were a duet, and we wrote and recorded. And I was a record executive for. I worked for Quincy Jones for a couple of years.
Oh wow.
Uh,
So
yeah,
did you like
yeah.
that side? Did you like that side or did that
It was
satisfy you?
dog eat dog. It
Oh,
was rough.
too
Now
killer.
Quincy was a nice guy, but behind the scenes, Quincy could be really tough, and
Yeah. I've heard that he was kind of tough. I heard he
he
was like
yeah, he could be very, very tough. So, but even more than that, when I worked at A&M Records, those guys, the not Herb and Jerry, they were nice guys actually. Um,
Mhm.
Herb used to come out of his office. Herb Albert used to come out of his
Yeah.
office and, can I get anybody some bagels and coffee? Or I'll never forget. I had a meeting with him one time, and I went to his office. I was called to his office, and I go down there. His office was probably as big as my house, and I sat on the other side of it. He had his horn, and he was playing. He was just playing, just playing. And finally, when he stopped, to break the ice, I said, "Hey, if I'd have known you were going to play the horn, I would have brought my guitar." And he put the horn down, and he looked at me.
He looked like he gave
Sorry,
it a nasty look.
he gave me that look. Yeah, but I had a tough time in the executive ranks. There were some artists, by and large, are I hate to judge it this way, but just more substantial people than business executives. I
Yeah,
just
well, business guys are like I said, the business guy is trying to move
yeah,
a widget.
yeah,
Like if
yeah,
you talk to an actuary, because I deal with actuaries in my life.
yeah,
I deal with
yeah.
insurance tech. The accountants and the actuaries are boring as hell. Now I'm a creative person.
Somebody saved me from all that stuff.
So when I gotta talk to these guys, I was like, okay, I know where this guy's coming from. Like he's going for the 1 cent. He's looking for the 1 cent difference or the tenth
Right,
of a penny difference, the hundredth of a. That's what he's all about,
right.
right? Where the
And,
artist is like, I don't care about that. I
well,
care about like
and these
impact.
guys, and these guys also, yeah, and these guys also loved power for power's sake.
Yeah, that's
They would put you down just because they could put you down. I mean, it was just, and it was almost a blood sport. It was. I'll give you an idea. On my first day at A&M Records, I was hired out of business school. I got my MBA, and I was hired to be the executive assistant to the president,
mm,
who almost immediately decided that he hated me. But that's another story. On my first day, my first day, I'm walking across the A&M lot, which was the Charlie Chaplin studio, and here comes Herb. And I'd been introduced to him once, and he comes up to me like a kid that's just having his first success. I loved it so much. He comes and I go, Manny, it was Rise, the song Rise. He
hmm
said, my record is number 19. Come on the chart at 19. I said, that's wonderful, Herb. I had a meeting with his brother, Weird Dave, the next hour. And I thought, well, I'll have something to talk about, icebreaker. So I'm in Dave's office and I go, isn't that great about Herb and this record? He goes, screw Herb. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's dog eat dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He said, my son wrote Rise and he's going to make $250,000. I said, okay, Dave. Okay. He was a strange character. The opposite of Herb. It was almost like he was angry because he wasn't Herb.
yeah.
He
Well,
was,
some
he
fun.
was,
That's weird. To get that dynamic. If you have somebody in the family that's creative, and you're kind of, and maybe they're known, and then you're not
yeah,
known, right?
that's
And you
right.
might be
That's
in the
right.
job, but you're not gonna ever get the acclaim that he's gonna get. So
Right.
like that, there's a kind of
And her,
brother jealousy that going on there.
and Herb had the successful brother's sunny demeanor, kind of a nice guy when you meet him, just strange, a little strange, but we all are. But he was a nice guy.
Hmm
And I'll never forget when, after Rise went to number one, we had a party. It was the Christmas party. It was right around that time. And he led a conga line of all the secretaries at A&M around that soundstage for about a half hour. Just a fun-loving guy,
Just having fun. Yeah, which seems
Yeah,
like a nice, like gregarious guy. He's like
right.
not
And his
like
brother, unhappy. Oh,
unhappy kind of.
oh, oh, oh. Anyway, I shouldn't
That's a
talk about
bad dynamic. Well, the dynamics are weird because like you get into
it.
like a lot of people get into industry and they feel like it's like a is it like I don't want to like say what is it like a tough guy soprano thing going
Yeah,
on? Like there's
yeah,
like an
it is.
intimidation.
Well
It's
put.
kind of like power
Well put.
moves. Like
Yep.
if you're an artist, like I don't know if I want to be around these guys or being like that hard.
No, but the artists don't even know what's going on for the most part. I'll
Yeah,
tell you
stay
about
away from it.
my favorite guy at A&M was Peter Frampton.
Mm,
I had heard that Frampton was an arrogant, you know, kind of star.
like
But when
virtuoso
I
type
met
of
him,
guy that knows he's a virtuoso and kind of telling
yeah,
everybody that
that's what
they
I
should know it.
heard. That's what I heard. But maybe it was because his career was already on the downslide when I met him. But he was the sweetest guy I ever met. We were friends. He actually gave me one of his guitars signed by him,
Oh
and
wow.
I have a picture of me and him from then that is one of my favorite pictures ever. Um, I should show it to you uh, because I look different too if I can find it here. But anyway, Frampton, I was with Frampton the day that he got his star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh cool.
I was supposed to go, but I was in a meeting too long, and I thought, no, I'm not going to go. And then I saw his publicist, who was a friend of mine, and his publicist said, "Come with us." And I climbed into the limo, and in the limo was Frampton and his mother and father and his brother, and we went to the where the star was going to be given, and we watched it all. It was really fun, and just before it was over, the limo driver comes by and goes, "Get to the car quickly. There's going to be craziness." And sure enough, we're in the car. Sure enough, here comes Peter with the girls flying. It was, and we're in the car, and we drive away, pull away, and the limo driver is going, "Windows locked, windows up, doors are locked." We're pulling away, and it was, and people, girls were on the hood. It was. I got to feel what it was like in a Beatles movie.
Yeah, that's like
Man,
Frampton was like super. Well, at
yeah,
some point when he came alive, because that
yeah. This
that
was
was like
after that, but
it was
still,
after that period, but he was still
uh,
kind of like on the
yeah,
radio. Like they
yeah,
were playing him on
exactly.
the radio for like even after
Right,
his height, it was still like this. It was on the
right. The public
revolving
considered him a
playlist, you
star.
know.
Yeah, only the record executives considered him over the hill. So, so we pull away, and Peter's in the back seat with his parents, and he says, because they give you a little plaque along with the star on the boulevard, and he
Oh,
goes, and this will show you the whole thing. He says, "Oh, it's so nice of them to give me this. It's just a little piece of wood." He says, "It's so nice of them to give me this." And his mother turns to him and says, "Now, Peter, you put that in a nice frame." And I was like, "Mother's the world around." I mean, it was so
yeah.
beautiful.
But it's
But
cool that he had his parents there because you think some rock stars are like, like would they even have their parent there?
oh, his parents were so sweet.
That's
That's me
cool.
and Peter.
It shows a
Nice,
different type of the people probably wouldn't have expected that. They would thought always just his
right?
like his girlfriends, his manager, and all those type of people would be there, and maybe
Exactly.
the family would like they wouldn't be there at all. But
Right.
that's a different perspective. Yeah,
Oh no, they flew in from England. So
that's
can you
cool.
see that?
Yeah, I can see it. It's awesome.
Uh, he's the one with the bushy hair.
Yeah, I
I'm
know
the
him.
one. I'm the one with still some hair.
Well, yeah, it's cool. That's back in the day. That's like a '70s vibe.
19. It was 82.
It's
82.
80. It still feels like '70s though.
Yeah, right, right. It'll
79
always
and
feel like
82, it still
70s.
looks the same. It's like by the time you get to the late '80s, then it's different, but it's like it still feels
Right,
like you're carrying that '70s vibe. Because
right.
I was born in '67, and I was just one of those kids that's
Yeah,
like
you're a
I
young
like
guy.
Hendrix was gone by the time I knew about him,
Oh
and
man,
all the great people were gone, like Janis and Hendrix and then the Doors. But I was like really I dove into all that because like it had happened when I was alive, but I didn't know about it because I was a kid. I was a little baby.
right,
And
right.
I was, like, just enamored with it. So I was
See
going
that
back and getting all that stuff, getting Blonde on Blonde, getting the, Are You Experience, getting The Doors. It's like I was
exactly.
when I was, like, 10 years old, I'm going to the record store and I'm getting all this stuff, and they're like, "How come you're not paying attention to the time you're in?" Because that time was awesome.
That's right. Well, see, that's a person very much like yourself. I mean, a little older than you, I think, but in Tucson, grew up to our music there, and that's why he decided to release all that stuff and to re-release all that stuff, and he's kind of responsible for the rejuvenation of that music.
Yeah, I think
So
it's
yeah,
important for people to find
yeah,
these nuggets. Like your band is like, this is
nuggets
yeah, well,
of the
it's
psychedelic era. Yeah,
well, it's just interesting to find underground rock. It's kind of like finding when I got into this big kick of finding like unknown bands,
right,
like Big Star or like the
right,
Velvets, going and finding these bands that nobody knew about, and then you're because it's like there's so much stuff that's overplayed. Like you mentioned Tom Petty. Tom Petty's great, but they play it like to the death,
yeah,
right? And
yep.
I want to hear somebody else.
You want to hear some new stuff?
I
Yeah,
want to hear somebody else. So listening to your band,
right.
it's cool to go and listen to like to a band like the Grodes. Then it's like, oh, let me see what other bands are in that time period,
Exactly,
and then
exactly.
you,
And it's interesting because looking back from now, people seem to think of us as as bigger than we were
mm,
because looking back from now, we seem more like what was going on then. But
yeah, you do.
then we were a little punk band. Uh, we didn't really particularly sound like those guys that we are now associated with. But now I look back on it and I think, yeah, maybe we did. I
Well,
mean,
you were able to at least get into a recording studio and get it put down on vinyl, put it on, so you
oh,
got it put out there. And now a lot of people today, they're doing it on their DAWs. They don't get that process of actually going into a studio.
right.
So like these time capsules of bands from that period went through that process
Well,
of
and the
having a
Grodes,
recording engineer and somebody putting it down.
that's
There's
right.
something about that that makes it valuable to me.
It's very valuable to me, and I was the lone voice in the Grodes. The Grodes were all about live performance. I said, great. It feels really good when there's a good moment, but it's gone.
Yeah,
It's
put it
here and
down.
it's gone. A
You got to put
record
it
is
down.
forever. What is
Yeah,
wrong with
yeah,
you guys? And they're
you
like,
got to
oh,
put it down.
Freiser, you and your stupid songs. And, it was a battle between me and the lead guitar player. It was like, you
Oh,
know,
so that was the battle they did. It was like we want to be a live band versus a recording band
that was just one of the battles.
was one of
It
them.
was it was an inherent battle of me against the lead guitar player, or him against me, I should say. Um, I think we were very different people from very different stratas of society or different
Mm.
ages. I was older than those guys, but whatever it was, and it got really nasty. And the funny part of it is, it was so important to me and so drastic and so depressing that it happened. And I talked to CR. He lives nearby, the bass player. Did that happen? I said, you don't remember? He says, I don't remember there being big fights or anything. You don't? So, maybe I belong in an institution. I don't know, but I remember it being pretty
Well, you
drastic.
felt it. I mean, if you feel it, then you're gonna remember it. So some people like they filter things out. Like
Yeah, yeah,
if something happened, they don't put a lot of weight to it.
that's
But
right.
if you feel more passionate about it, then you're gonna put more weight on it.
It was my
So
whole life. I
yeah,
felt like it was my whole life,
yeah,
and
so it's like
for CR,
yeah,
yeah,
it's super important to you.
yeah,
So you're
yeah,
gonna feel it.
that's right. So that's probably the reason for the difference. But the breakup was pretty ugly. We wound up we had just backed up. Um, uh, oh, Boyce and Hart,
Mm.
the writers of the Monkey song, "Last Train to Clarksville."
Oh,
They
that
had a
yeah,
hit. They had a
yeah.
hit on their own called I want. Well, I can't remember the name, but anyway, it was big, and they were on tour. So we were opening for them in Phoenix and Tucson. And that night, we got into it outside the motel, sitting out there, people trying to sleep in the rooms around us. I don't know how they did, but we were out there all night. Just, just it got so bad that Dan Gates, who was the producer manager of us, he just broke down and started crying. He said, "You guys, I can't believe this. All the hard work we've done, all of this, and it's all for nothing. It's breaking my heart." And it was breaking my heart too. But we had reunions after that. We had reunions here in LA. Had the same fights.
Well, you get these bands, like you think about the Eagles, and they had that big break, that super big fight. Everybody found out. It
Yep,
was very public. But you get these breakups, or these bands, like they get to a point where like in Pink Floyd, it's like the guys don't can't stand each other. It's
right.
like you get to the point where these people get to these like you had a really good working relationship, and then something burns out.
That's
It's like
right.
a classic thing, that
Or
happens.
something comes up that can't be resolved.
Yeah, you just can't resolve it because like you got to
Yep.
be so close. Like when you're, if you're a band,
Oh, they're family.
yeah, your
They're your
family,
family.
and if there's like a dysfunction, if there's a toxicity,
It's
it's
big.
gonna end up showing up on stage. It's gonna end up in the work, and like, and if you can't push it down, you get a band like Fleetwood Mac. They were able to push it down for a while.
They were able to make
Even
music
then,
about it and
it
and
broke.
work it out.
Then they blew up though. Eventually, it did
Yeah,
blow up.
right. They did blow up, but they did their therapy on stage, screaming at each other in the songs. I
Yeah, they
saw
would
one of
yell
their
at each other on
performances.
stage. Well, you can
Yeah,
see it
right.
where Stevie's like looking at
Yeah,
Lindsay, and
it was
she's
that
looking
one.
at him and she's belting it out like I'm
I
aiming this at you.
I just saw that online. I just saw that again online. It's
Yeah, I've seen
really
that.
interesting.
You see Lindsay aiming the back at her. They kind of go both ways. It's like, okay,
But
that's very
yeah, but
passionate.
he was. I noticed that he was backing up though, as he was singing. She was moving forward, and he was backing up. I can see how that worked. But
Yeah.
I was just thinking of. It just occurred to me. It's not related to anything else, but uh, uh, an event that happened in the '70s. Well, '69 when I was in LA by that time. I was I had gotten a demo deal with Unart, which was United Artists Publishing Company, and I was in the studio uh, doing some demos, and I was real proud of a new Guild jumbo guitar that I had gotten, and this guy, there's always people in the studio you don't know who they are. People just come in and sit, and I said to this guy, I said, I love this guitar. He goes, I've got 6 of those at home. So I said to my publisher, I said, who is that jerk? He goes, why? That's Del Shannon.
Tell Shannon.
So Del Shannon took my new Guild jumbo and sat on the floor in the studio room and played his songs for us. He played Hats Off to Larry. He played Little Runaway on my studio time.
on your time.
But I was hypnotized. He was amazing.
Well,
What
that's
a
cool that
character.
to be able all these stories that are going to be in your book and your part 2 of the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. 'Cause I think a lot of kids today, a lot of people, even fans today, adults, they're looking for something substantial, right? And
Right.
your story is like it's passionate because it's like your story. You were in the world. In that world today, a lot of people are looking back and say, "Wow, that's a golden age
It
of
was.
of these songwriters and people who are actually allowed to actually do this work." And it
That's right.
seemed like it wasn't all about the money; it was about the
It
work.
was definitely not about the money.
It was about the work, and it's like,
Yeah.
and that to me is like anybody that can get a piece of that story and actually get dive into it. This feels good to me.
Yeah. Well, volume 1, I get into it with a group called Naz, uh, who later became a group named Alice Cooper, and
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
from
Nas. I heard.
Phoenix.
I
Yeah.
remember I watched a documentary and I heard Alice talking about Nas. Yeah, I remember.
Right.
I know who that is.
Vince Vernier. Yeah. Well, he turned into a fairly nice guy, I heard, but we almost got into a physical battle with him. We were playing at a stadium in Tucson, High Corbett Field, and they just walked up to us. All they had to do was say please, but they walked up to us and said, "We don't have any sound equipment. We're using yours."
Oh, they're just taking it.
Yeah, and so I'm one of those guys. I would have said, "Okay, whatever," but the lead guitar player, he said, "No, you're not," and so it was close.
Yeah, that's a
But
fight.
and I got to back up. I got to back up and later meet and be friends with kind of Bobby V. Take good
Bobby
care of
V.
my baby.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Rubber Ball. He's a
That's cool.
really nice guy, and the only guy I ever met who was born where I was, Fargo,
Oh,
North Dakota.
oh, oh, I
Yeah,
didn't know
tell
that.
me about it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my story is I got up and packed at the age of 4 months and left. That's my story. But
Yeah, listen, I don't know. Yeah, you think if you had been in Fargo, you wouldn't even got to where you are?
oh
You had
yeah,
at
well
least.
see, it was just a small part of my dad's story. He was a teacher and he was just starting to teach, and so he was teaching at an agricultural college in Fargo. But
Wow,
so
wow.
and later he became the head of the chemistry department at Tucson, University of Arizona.
Oh, so then you got to go to Arizona, yeah.
Oh, and everybody hated him. The students hated him, and they'd just go, "That damn Freiser," and I'd go, "What? Who?"
Well, who's that?
I thought it was me.
Like, yeah, yeah. I had a friend that his dad was a high school teacher, and he had to go to the same high school, and then everybody was ribbing him. I was like, I gotta deal with this guy. Oh, it's cool,
That could
man.
get pretty
That's my
nasty.
dad.
So, let me interview you just for a second.
Yeah,
Do you have recordings that you've released? Because I
yeah,
don't.
yeah. I have
This is the
tons of
first
stuff
I've
on.
had a chance to meet you, and I'm really
Yeah,
excited about
Phantom
this.
Electric Ghost Music is on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on a bunch of platforms. It's,
Fabulous, because I want to hear you.
it's good. Phantom Electric Ghost, it's very experimental. I use a lot of analog and modular synths. It's inspired kind of like it's like between a funkadelic and Sun Ra
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
and kind of like Berlin, like Kraftwerk
yep,
type of stuff. It's kind of where
yep.
I'm coming from. But yeah, it's not
Oh, I want
everybody's
to
cup
hear
of
it.
tea, but it's different.
Well, even if it's not my cup of tea, I'll be interested to listen to it. So and enjoy it. But that's phenomenal. Yeah, I had no idea that we would share such a background
Oh, that's
in doing
cool.
this. Yeah,
Well, I love
yeah,
talking to musicians, like I said, because like I love all genres of music. I like to get into anything and stuff I haven't heard. I dive into. I'm always
Right.
looking for new stuff to listen to, and I'm
Right.
not dependent on any particular genre. If to me, if it's cool, it's cool. And like, and
I,
I'll listen to anything.
I respect that. I respect that. I think that's the right way to be. I'm not as open. Well, no, it's not being open. I'm just not as much of an avid listener as you are. I'm open to different genres, but
Mhm.
I'm not as I sense that you're one of the true listeners to music, and that's a
Yeah,
wonderful way to be. That's a wonderful way to be.
well, this it helps me like when I'm trying to come up with things. Is like if I listen when I listen to some band out of Berlin
That's
or
right.
some band out of Sweden, or here's some guy out of Australia, or even I listen to somebody out of North Dakota. Right, I
Right.
listen to anything, and it's like because like if you hear that spark or something, it's like wow, that's an idea I never heard before. That's a way of
Exactly.
turning a phrase or playing a guitar or playing a keyboard
Exactly.
riff. And to me, it's like that's how I get inspired to keep on doing what I'm doing because if I just keep on listening to the same things I always like,
Right.
I'm never
It's
gonna learn anything.
yeah. It kind of you become kind of um, not immobile,
Yeah,
uh,
you just get locked into like
creation wise. Yeah.
you get locked into the same thing, and it's like eventually you get bored.
Right.
I get
Right.
I know guys get bored. It's like if you could play with that cover band, you can
And
keep on
right.
playing
Right.
the covers, or you're gonna write your own
Oh,
song. You know,
I
it's like
could not.
you're a songwriter. You made the decision. Like I'm not gonna just play, you know, like Neil
Exactly.
Diamond stuff all day. I'm gonna write my own.
Exactly. And that's also what broke up the Grodes. I was not about to be a cover band. I just could not do it.
Yeah, that's
And
a hard
they
thing. They
and
wanted to do
they
that?
yeah, oh well that's what they did. They made fun of my songs.
Oh, wow.
They're like, Freiser, you and your recording shit, you know, they liked something that was already a hit, and
Yeah, like, how far can you go with that? Like,
yeah,
to me, it's like
exactly,
you had the mindset, like, you're looking at the Beatles, you're looking at Stones, you're looking at the Byrds, you're looking at all these guys. It's like, they're not cover bands.
right. Thank you. That's what I said. I said they're not cover bands. Why do you want to be a cover band?
It's like, because
Thank
it's
you.
like, because you can't come up with the idea
Yeah, where
doesn't
were
mean
you
that
when I
you shouldn't
needed you?
try.
Where were you when I needed you, Phantom? I could have used your
Yeah, I've always
backing.
tried to go around. I always surround myself with the guys like, do you have some demos? Like every time
Yeah,
I meet a drummer,
yeah,
like what do you want to do? It like I want to write. I'm like, yeah,
right.
you're the guy. Like if I ran into a guy he's like, oh, we're gonna play the Zepp song. Oh, go join the Zepp band because like I don't want you. Like I want somebody who wants to write.
Exactly. Well, and uh, to be self promotional, you mentioned Sweden. For some reason or other, there are several videos online of my song "Let's Talk About Girls,"
Oh,
the
it's going well
garage
there.
rock classic, and the other one, "Cry a Little Longer," by Swedish bands.
Oh, they're covering you. Well, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's really interesting to me. I'm not sure why it's happening over there more than other places,
It
but
sometimes that
it's
happens. So you get these bands like these bands from like Norway and
yeah, yeah,
Iceland, and they go and they're like looking for stuff, and they
yeah.
find a lot of underground
That
American
must be
music.
what it is. Yeah,
Yeah, I've talked to
because
some bands from that area of the world, and they seem to have an appreciation for like old stuff or stuff that's
right,
not known.
right,
So
right.
they're kind of looking through the bins, looking for stuff,
And
and
their
then they
versions
find
are
stuff.
really wonderful. Their versions are wonderful. There's a band called my favorite is "Let's Talk About Girls" by a band called Imperial State Electric
I'll
from
have to check
Sweden,
that. I'll have to check
and
that
those
out.
guys kick some serious butt.
I love it when
With
people find stuff like it's cool when people find something like if you just cover something everybody knows, that's boring. When you go
right,
find something like a
right,
nugget, you go find
right,
that gold, and you find something that's not well known.
right. I
That's
should say
I love that.
I should say that was a cover of "Cry a Little Longer," not "Let's Talk About Girls" by Imperial
Okay,
State Electric. But I love the fact that so many people covered "Let's Talk About Girls," or as the band used to call it, "L-Tag."
okay.
Let's Talk About Girls. But the funny part is, my favorite has to be, just for concept, has to be "Let's Talk About Boys" by a girl group from Germany called The Brood.
Oh, they changed it around? They changed it
Yeah,
around.
they
Yeah.
just changed that word.
Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
the thing is there's a lot of
I
female
loved
bands
it.
today that they'll go and take songs and do that.
Right.
So that's interesting.
I loved it.
But I wanna give the audience again the QR code and let them know that goes to, Manny Freiser songs.com, and if you scan that with your phone, you can go right to that site. I want people to support you. I'm sure you can get to your book from that site, right? Can they get
Yes.
there?
Yes.
So
Yes.
we do encourage
There's a
people to
link.
click on the links.
Yeah. The book is, and I just finished. To talk to you about that sometime. I just finished the audio book.
Oh, the audiobook. Yeah, we love
Why
people
did I start that?
to tell people to do
I,
that because, people today are so, maybe they're not, reading a verse, but they're so caught
right.
up in all these things that if they're in their car, they're commuting,
Yeah.
they would have some
I-
downtime when they want to go to sleep, they listen to audiobooks. And so
I'm in LA, so I drive constantly and I'm in my car. I listen to books all the time. But I'll
it's
tell
a
you
cool
what,
thing.
doing an audio book is a major undertaking.
It's like a
It
movie.
oh, well, that was what was fun. You get to act out the book, the stories.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time.
Yeah,
And
you gotta have a good, producer, you gotta plan it out.
well,
It
see,
is like a little movie.
that was my problem. The producer, engineer, editor, and several other positions, they were all filled by one person.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
gotta have dedication to get it done.
Yeah, I did, and I'm and with a little help from a guy named Robert Lane coaching.
Oh, I
That's
know him.
him,
I've talked to him before.
yeah,
Yeah, I know him.
Robert really helped me out. I was stuck in editing, not in narrating, but in editing it.
Oh, so he helped you.
Um,
Yeah, that's his thing. That's what he
yeah,
likes to do.
and
He's helping my wife too. My wife's working on a book.
oh, good, yeah, because I called Robert. He set it up, put it online, got it done, and a good man, good man.
Yeah, he's a
Oh,
cool guy. Like
yeah, he is.
we've talked to him, and like I said, my wife's working on a book. She's an author, and
Right.
she's working on that right now. So yeah,
He's currently he's currently working on an album.
yeah,
And
he's a musician too. Yeah, I talked
yeah,
to him
oh
about
yeah,
that. Yeah.
he's working on an album. And I've heard some unfinished stuff from it, and he's a character. His music is balls to the wall. I mean,
Yeah, I've heard
it's
some of it.
really
Yeah,
really. Oh, you heard some of it too.
yeah.
Um, so that's interesting. Yeah, so I did that, but if he hadn't rescued me from editing the audio book, I think I'd still be
Yeah. Well, it's like you got to know your lane. Sometimes you need somebody to come in
well.
to help like
I
push you
knew it
through.
wasn't my lane when I found myself editing each word rather than editing. A good editor gets a setting for the whole book and it works. But I was doing each sentence, each
Yeah,
line
well, that's
by
gonna take a while.
itself. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's gonna take a little too long.
yeah. I was a
But
young kid when I started. No, I'm kidding.
but yeah, I want to let people know that we've been live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Kick. We will be on all the other platforms that you can watch a podcast or listen to it by tomorrow. Again, check the QR code to get to the link, or wait until we're on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Kick, or the other podcast platforms. You'll be able to click through on that URL in the podcast description on those platforms. But immediately the QR code works. So check that out. I want to thank you for being on the show today.
I want to thank you, Phantom. I really enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you.
Hope to talk to you again.
Yeah, if you have another book, like
Yeah.
have your part two, we talk to authors on their second, third, fourth book all the time. So thank you.
Well, terrific. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Talk to you again.